Hey guys, Marsinger here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today I wanted to talk about the support memory that I think is now probably one of the best support memories in the game. I feel like the only argument you can really make for a better support memory is if you are running a very specific team build and you're running the permanent buff support memories, right? So if you're running like super class Android / Cell Saga, there's the Gohan one, or the Extreme, there's the Cell War Games news one. If you're running Goku Family, running Wicked Bloodline, those obviously giving you a permanent buff for the entire fight make a pretty significant difference to a lot of the numbers. But even if you're running a single unit that's not on that category, right, they're not going to get that buff. This one could potentially be better, although it is restricted in its own way. So this is the Curious Destiny, or just the Bulma support memory. This is the reward from completing the missions for that new difficult free-to-play challenge event. I made a video on it yesterday. You can check that out, see my first couple of attempts, as well as I show screenshots of the teams that I actually beat it with. A bunch of people in the comments gave some replies of the teams that they used as well. But the whole point of doing that is you get this support memory leveled up. You can see here it's level 5 out of 5, and it now recovers 50% HP when it goes off, and then for 2 turns your Pure Saiyan or Earthling units on the team get attack and defense 10%, and it will go off on the 4th turn regardless, or when HP is 40% or less with a Pure Saiyan or Earthling on the team. So they added Earthling to the ability to proc the ability, they added to the amount it heals you, and then they added this 2-turn support buff. Now, one of the reasons why this is so good is because of its application to a bunch of different teams. Like, straight away, the fact that it's a buff for Pure Saiyans. So think about all the different builds for like Goku Family, even random teams if we want to talk about like Team Bardock, stuff like that. A Pure Saiyan team getting this kind of buff is obviously going to be very good. But it includes Earthlings as well. And the reason why I think this is so good, and it makes sense, kind of makes sense that it released during this celebration, is this buffs a couple of the major teams that have received a lot of help during this celebration, and that is this 23rd World Tournament Goku team, as well as like the Dragon Ball Saga team in general with this Kid Goku. Because you could run Kid Goku and then a team full of people like Yamcha, Bulma, Master Roshi, and then your team is entirely made up of Pure Saiyans and Earthlings, because everybody is an Earthling except for Goku. And then on this team, again, we're running units like Krillin as part of the, like, he's getting the 200% because of the World Tournament, part of the leader skill. He is an Earthling, Bulma is an Earthling, and then everybody else on the team is a Pure Saiyan. So it means when we get to turn 4, our entire team is getting a 10% buff for 2 turns, or if we get caught early on and take a load of damage, we're getting a heal, and then we're getting that buff. So I'm going to jump into the Metal Cooler Core stage here. I feel like this is probably one of the perfect stages for using this support memory, because stage 4 is when you get to the Metal Cooler Core. So you're either going to need a little bit of healing, maybe you haven't taken like a huge amount of damage, but you're going to potentially need a little bit of healing, or you're just going to straight up get the buff, which you then have for 2 turns, starting from the hardest part of the fight, right? So I'm going to... do I even actually want to float off Bulma? I think I will on this turn just for now. Although I guess actually, realistically, I don't want... Carnival Goku and Krillin on the same rotation, but I guess it's fine for now. It's not super important. Now, the one downside I will say to the support unit, as one of the things that I've already mentioned, is that it will trigger if you drop below the HP threshold immediately. So, for example, one of the ways that that could be bad, like we'll use this turn as an example, took a bit of damage here. It's not going to be enough to proc the support memory, but were we to take a Stray Super on the wrong unit, and then it procs on the 2nd turn, in this event specifically, it's not always necessarily going to be an issue, but in this event specifically, like getting the free heal is probably always going to be nice, right? If you take a bunch of damage super early on, the fact that you're then going to get a 50% heal is really good. But I would say in this event specifically, if we're getting the 10% buff for 2 turns, and it's against the actual, like, the Metal Cooler army, which is you know, not a particularly difficult part, and we can't kill them early anyway, right? So getting the attack boost is almost completely wasted. Getting the defense boost is obviously nice, but getting the attack boost against the Metal Cooler army is essentially a waste of time, right? Because we can't kill them anyway. Whereas when we get to the actual Metal Cooler core, we want to be able to defeat him as quickly as possible. So getting that 10% buff for 2 turns is obviously going to have a pretty decent effect on how we then play through the rest of the Metal Cooler core. Because there are team builds where you can, you know, whether it's through the combination of using various active skills, you can get through the Metal Cooler core even in like 2 turns. That's with like high burst damage teams. So if you're bringing units that are going to, you know, get a buff for those 2 turns from this support memory, like I haven't bought like the most crazy optimized for damage version of this team here, but it will be interesting to see how much, like how many turns it will actually take us to defeat the Metal Cooler core. So interestingly enough, we ate a super on Carnival Goku. I think we are just above 50% HP, which unironically is actually good, right? Because if we can stay above 50%, are we just below or are we above? Is it going to go off here? It did not. Perfect. So now I can get the oh, this is actually this run is going to be spicy. So I can get the run with I can get the revive with you. That's going to end the run. Oh, this is actually going to be really good. I would kind of like an extra stack for him though, but I'm pretty sure if he just gets hit in slot 1 here, he dies, which is unfortunate. But although I suppose I could float him off and just let Krillin. There's no real benefit to anybody else taking hits on this turn though. But I suppose if we get killed, it's better to die in slot 3 after having gotten a stack for Goku. So I won't get the 7 orbs, so I can still get some decent damage reduction here with the Goku. And then I won't pick up same type orbs either. Because obviously, regardless of what happens on this turn, we actually can't lose, right? Because Carnival Goku's revival is the typical form of revival that covers everyone on the rotation. I think, is it only LR Metal Cooler and then LR Future Gohan once he's exchanged from Gohan and Trunks? I think they're the only revive units that have to be the one that dies. So obviously, even if we were to take a ton of damage on this turn, and you know Krillin or Goku dies, it's not going to matter. Not that Krillin is going to die, right? Krillin is an absolute beast. Fantastic side banner unit, really, really good for this team. But and of course, the flip side is, whilst we would obviously like Goku to die, and maybe I've made a terrible misplay here and he doesn't die and survives the turn, our support memory is going to go off on the next turn, and because it heals 50% HP, we are basically going to get a full heal from it. So we're kind of in, you know, we're coming up roses whichever way we play this, because the support memory is going to go off next turn regardless of what happens. If we get the revival here because Carnival Goku gets killed, the heal part is still useful because Carnival Goku's revival doesn't give you a full heal. So now that I'm thinking about it, this is actually like the perfect setup for how this support memory can help us out. Yeah, Goku tanking way better than I expected in that final slot there. So now we go on to the turn 4. We get ourselves a nice tasty full heal thanks to the support memory. You can already see our HP's gone up here. And there we go. Curious Destiny. We'll let it play out since the video is literally about this support memory. Kind of ironic to think that, like, she says that and then one of the next, you know, when the next major plot point of the series happens, she turns up with a baby. Alright, so now we're getting our 10% buff. So we've got a lot. The only thing I'm worried about here, this has been going perfectly so far, but as I've mentioned quite a lot in some of my recent videos, this World Tournament Goku has really been frauding me out lately with not guarding against super attacks. So I am a little bit concerned about what's going to happen here at the end of the, at the beginning of this turn. So I'm going to grab these for you. I'm going to let you go in slot 2. Can I get 7 orbs? Okay, there's enough int orbs. So if I do this, get the 18 key super, and then, yeah, we can grab all of these. Alright, perfect. Alright, so as long as Goku doesn't get immediately supered in slot 1 and not guard, then we should be okay. Alright, well, he did guard anyway. So There you go. Now, we're not going to see a crazy, crazy turn here where it's like, oh my god, everybody's doing like 15 million attack stats. Like, this support memory is absolutely cracked. But just by getting that extra 10%, and remember, whilst it's not all allies, like I said at the beginning, it's pure Saiyans and Earthlings, which everyone on this team is. But I've not in any way, like, handicapped this team. Like, I have to only bring Earthlings and Pure Saiyans, so, like, maybe one or two of the units that I've brought on this team aren't really that good, and I've only bought them so they can get the buff from the support memory. It's like, every unit on this team is good. So, how much are we going to eat from this? I think we will take damage, but, yeah, see, unfortunately, my STR Carnival Goku is only 69%. I'm desperately awaiting him finally returning on a banner so I can actually get like another dupe for him. At least one, right? Because very much want him to have extra dupes. So let's go ahead and use this. So fire off this just to get some extra damage in here. Get the crit as well, which is nice because if I remember off the top of my head, Kid Goku doesn't get guaranteed crits off of his super. Krillin doesn't have the highest defense, unfortunately, so we won't get a mega heal from this, but that's fine. We'll try and get the same type orb for you. And then, unfortunately, again, we are in that situation where we roll the dice here to see whether we get frauded out by Tech Goku's guard. But remember, everyone on the turn getting that buff from the support memory. Unfortunately, we didn't get supered on Krillin. But look at Krillin on this turn. 8.3 on his attack. Yeah, this Krillin absolutely is a fantastic unit, so very, very good. Unfortunate that we didn't get that revive on the first turn. I think that's where I kind of have played myself, right? If this Tech World Tournament Goku does actually end up getting me killed, because I could have just put Carnival Goku in slot 1, and he would have died, and we would have got the revival, but I don't know why I tried to, like, min-max the turn so hard, but, you know, it is what it is. Is he going to super attack Kid Goku? God damn it. This is going to be another one of those instances of me only having a 55% Goku gets me killed. Because this Kid Goku has so much value now that I feel like he is absolutely like a full dodge unit, and you can just run him on so many of these teams. And he's providing damage reduction to everybody, and then potentially can just dodge all the attacks. Like, that would make him so good. Alright, so let's see. Do we run the risk with Tech Goku here? I mean, this is all played out very, very nicely so far. Carnival Goku, Tech 1, because we're floating him off and everything, not getting his revive, he hasn't got very built up. He does have his guard on this turn, but if he gets immediately supered, we die. In fact, I think even if he takes a normal and then just gets one more stack from his 18 key super, I think he potentially still dies anyway. So I'm going to do this. Fortunately, because Tech Goku has so much defense, that will give us a nice heal. Then we can do this. And then... But this is one of the things I've talked about a lot recently as to why I think Tech World Tournament Goku isn't as good on Global as he is on JP. Because you saw in this video, even though I, you know, misplayed on that last turn of the Metal Cooler army, because I could have got Bird Ku's revive if I played it differently. Like, Carnival Goku can just be unreliable sometimes for you actually getting his revival, whereas on JP, with the GT duo LR from the anniversary, yeah, see, look at that, when he doesn't guard, it doesn't matter if you have like 800k defense, you still take 1,000,000 damage, but with the GT LR from the anniversary, as long as they've been hit enough times, which the Metal Cooler army attacks so many times, it's almost impossible for that to not be the case, you can use their exchange and therefore their revival on turn 4. So straight away when we get to the Metal Cooler core, we can just use their ability. Worst case scenario, nobody else on the turn actually gets killed, and then Vegeta just gets killed. You revive, drop the Spirit Bomb, and yeah, it might not do as much damage because you haven't been building them up for ages, but then a unit on your team has revived, and both your Tech Gokus have their guaranteed guard, as well as their extra stats buff, and then you don't have to worry about stuff like that happening. So, to really make that Tech World Tournament Goku the god that he can be, like, you need another unit to revive. And I just feel like lately, my experiences with this guy is I just can't get his revival as reliably as I would like to. So, that was on me though, right? Like, I should have just put him in slot 1 and he potentially would have just got immediately killed by the normal attack in slot 1, but I got kind of greedy and wanted him to have an extra stack by the time we got to the Metal Cooler Core, and that did kind of directly cost me that run. But not the fault of the support memory. The support memory, very, very good. So if you have not done that free-to-play event, I definitely think it's worth doing. Metal Cooler Core's one example, but if you think about it, if you do Red Zone Broly, you can get delayed a little bit at the beginning, but if you've brought a strong enough team, you can get through the first 2 phases in 3 turns. So as long as you don't take a ton of damage, then when you get to turn 4 and this support memory goes off, you're on the AoE phase, which is probably for a lot of teams the phase where you want to kill Broly the fastest so that he doesn't AoE and kill like your unit in slot 3 who's got barely any defense. So I do think this support memory is definitely one of the best ones in the game now. You guys let me know what you think down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.